Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Little and Great Philosophy, where we uncover the real psychology behind money, success, and true freedom. Today, I want to tell you something that might shock you. Poor people spend money to escape their fears. Rich people use money to buy freedom. It sounds simple, but behind that truth lies a mental gap so deep that it separates the rich from everyone else. And once you understand it, you'll never see money the same way again. Part 1. The mindset behind every dollar. Most of us were raised to believe that money is for spending. So when we earn it, our first instinct is to buy something to feel happy. A new phone, new clothes, a nice meal, maybe a short trip. Rich people, however, think in the exact opposite way. They don't ask, "How much can I spend?" They ask, "How can I make this dollar multiply itself?" Poor people use money to prove their worth. Rich people use money to build their systems. They don't see money as a reward. They see it as a tool for building the future. Part 2. A true story. Two friends, two lifestyles. Let's take a real example. Nam and Min are best friends. They both graduated from the same university, got similar jobs, earning $600 per month. Nam, poor mindset. The moment Nam got his first paycheck, he bought a new phone, went out every weekend, and even took a loan for a new motorbike. At the end of every month, his account hit zero. He said, "We only live once. Money is meant to be spent." Wompt. Min, rich mindset. Min, on the other hand, kept using his old phone, rented a small room, and invested 30% of his income in stocks and self-development courses. After 5 years, Nam was still broke. Same job, same bike, and credit card debt. Min had nearly $40,000 in investments and was starting his own business. Same income, completely different outcomes. Because Nam spent money to feel rich today, while Min used money to become rich tomorrow. Part 3. The rich by value, the poor by feelings. When poor people have money, they buy emotions. Clothes for confidence, a phone for status, a vacation to forget their job stress. But those feelings fade, and the money never comes back. Rich people instead buy value. They invest in knowledge, books, mentors, courses. They invest in systems, tools, machines, and business infrastructure. They invest in health, because without it, nothing else matters. Every dollar they spend must have a return on investment, ROI. Example, they'll gladly spend $800 on a sales course because that skill could make them $8,000 later. Meanwhile, the poor spend $800 on a new phone to scroll faster. The poor buy comfort, the rich buy results. Part 4. How the rich allocate their money. The rich treat money like flowing water. Every stream has a purpose. They don't let it spill randomly. They direct it intentionally. 1. Investment money. At least 10-20% of their income goes into investments, stocks, real estate, or business. 2. Growth money, 5-10%, goes into learning, books, seminars, or skill building. 3. Emergency fund. They keep 3 to 6 months of expenses saved, so they never panic when life hits. 4. Lifestyle money. The rest is for living, but always within limits. Poor people do the opposite. They start with spending, then think about saving, then maybe investing. That's why they never get ahead, because there's nothing left to invest. Part 5. Science behind the habit. Why the rich think differently. A 30-year Stanford study showed that people who can delay gratification, who can wait for bigger rewards, end up earning 7 times more than those who can't. It's called the marshmallow effect. Children were given 1 marshmallow and told they could have 2 if they waited 10 minutes. Years later, the kids who waited had higher incomes, better health, and stronger relationships. Poor people want the marshmallow now. Rich people wait for 2 later. That's the real difference. Not luck, not talent, but self-control over short-term pleasure. Part 6. Real-world example. The rich don't buy cars, they buy cash flow. Elon Musk once said, "Don't spend money on things people expect you to have. Spend it on creating things people need." For years, Musk didn't live in a mansion. He lived in a 400-square-foot modular home. Instead of luxury, he poured his billions into systems: Tesla, SpaceX, Solar City. That's why every dollar he spends multiplies impact. Even in Vietnam, many wealthy entrepreneurs follow the same logic. They buy apartments, not to live in, but to rent out. Each property becomes an employee that brings money home every month. Poor people, on the other hand, take huge loans for cars or big houses, then spend 20 years working just to pay off their own dream debt. Part 7. How the rich make spending decisions. Before every purchase, rich people ask 3 golden questions. 1. Does this help me make more money? 2. Does this save me time or effort? 3. Does this grow my skills or relationships? If the answer is no to all 3, they don't spend. Poor people decide emotionally, "It's on sale. It looks nice. I deserve a reward," then regret later. The difference isn't how much they earn, it's how consciously they use what they earn. Part 8. The rich buy freedom, the poor buy chains. Here's the biggest paradox of all. Poor people buy things that make them work harder: debts, car payments, lifestyle inflation. Rich people buy things that make them work less: income-producing assets, automation, and scalable systems. The poor use money to survive. The rich use money to escape survival. A poor man buys a $40,000 car with a loan, then pays $800 a month for years. A rich man invests that $40,000 in a business, earns $800 a month from it, then buys the car with the profits. Same money, opposite destiny. Part 9. The money multiplier mindset of the rich. Rich people don't ask, "How much money do I have?" They ask, "How much money can this money create?" They see $1,000 not as something to spend, but as a seed that can produce $100 a year forever. They focus on cash flow, not appearance. They'd rather own a small rental property that pays monthly than a big villa that drains cash. That's why many millionaires live quietly and dress simply, because they focus on growing value, not showing off wealth. Part 10. The 1 million test. Imagine you have $1,000 today. A poor person spends it on food, entertainment, and coffee. The next day, it's gone. Just a memory. A rich person buys a $15 book, learns how to sell better, and uses the rest to test an online ad. Within weeks, they earn double. Within a year, they could have $10,000. Because they don't spend money, they transform money into workers. Part 11. The shocking difference. Both the poor and the rich have the same 24 hours, the same 2 hands, and the same opportunities, but they differ in one thing: how they command their money. The poor work for money. The rich make money work for them. When you spend money, it disappears. When you invest money, it becomes you. And that's the shocking truth about money that few people ever realize. If this video gave you value, don't let it just be another motivation. Take action today. Look at every dollar you spend and ask, does this buy me freedom or does it trap me deeper? Like this video to spread the right mindset about money. Share it with someone who's struggling financially. They might need this more than you think. And subscribe to Little and Great Philosophy, where every video is a key that unlocks your path to wealth and freedom. Because once you understand how the rich use money, you're already on your way to becoming one of them.